Let's take a look at how we can find HTML elements in the DOM using JavaScript. The first way to find an element is to find it by its ID. To do this, we can use the getElementById method on the document object that comes with JavaScript. This method takes a string that represents the ID of an element. When the element with the given ID is found in the DOM, the element itself is the returned value of the method. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. So let's say we have a button. We have a button, and we'll give it an attribute called ID, and I'll set this ID to my-button. We'll just put button 1 as the content of that button. And then we're going to go ahead, and I've got this empty JavaScript file. We're going to link that here. Script source equals index.js. And then we can save this, and from our index.js file, we are going to find the HTML element with the ID myButton. So I'm going to create a new variable, let button equal, and this is where I'm going to use the document object.getElementById. This takes a string, and that string is the ID of the element we want to grab. So that was my-button. And now just to see what that looks like, we're going to go ahead and log that out to the console. Save this. We can open this in our browser. There's our button. And we can see in our console, we have the element itself. This actual button was found and logged out. The second way we can find elements is by their tag names. Remember that an element is denoted in HTML by its tags, typically opening and closing, but some elements only have one tag. So the tag would be h1 or p or button or whatever the text in the HTML element is. So let's go ahead and create a couple more buttons here. Call this one button 2. We'll give this one a class. Okay, another button here, just button 4. And then another button here with the same myClass. This will be button 5. If we come back to our JavaScript, we can say let buttons by tag, because we're going to grab them by their tags. And we can change this up to get elements, and it's plural because tags, there's going to be multiple of them typically. So get elements by tag name. And then we pass in as a string the tag name we want to grab. So in this case, it's button, and it matches the text that's in the tag of the elements we want to grab. Then if we log this out, you can see all 5 of our buttons here. We can see that we get back an HTML collection. It's an array of all the different buttons. We can see all the attributes for each one. See if we expand button 2. We can see the inner text is button 3. And that's just the second one or the third one inside of the array at position 2, 0, 1, 2. We can also get elements by their class name. Since HTML IDs are supposed to identify a unique element, the method we use to find an element by an ID is singular, getElementById. However, classes are generally used to identify multiple elements that would share the same style. Therefore, when we find elements by class, we find multiple, which is why the method name is plural, getElementsByClassName. So we can see here we've got a couple that have the myClass class name. So we can come back here and change this. We'll change the name of this variable to buttonsByClassName. And what we're going to get here is get elements by class name. Again, we pass it in as a string, my class, and then we'll print out the content of this variable. So save this, come back and refresh, and we can see this time only 2 were found. 1, 2. Those are the 2 buttons that had the my class assigned to them.